When I got this donation deck list, I straight up just cackled. I don't know if we're going to win today, but we are going to have a good time. Hello folks, Phil Gallagher aka ThrabenU here for another Legacy video, and today Scott has asked us to play with Telepathy. Now this is an interesting Magic the Gathering card. Your opponents play with their hands revealed. And in most cases, this should not be worth a card. However, and hear me out, what if your opponents are just ripping through their deck with Brainstorms and Ponders and Surveil triggers and Barrowgoyf triggers? And what if you get to start using Extirpates and Surgical Extractions with a vast amount of knowledge so that you actually start taking cards from your opponent's hand? Can we put some wins on the board with Esper Telepathy today? We're going to find out. So, Tamiyo and Barrowgoyf are stupid Magic the Gathering cards that can win the game on their own. We are going to see if putting these powerful scaling cards sort of all by themselves into a deck is enough to make it so that this package can get a couple of wins on the board. I have not changed many cards from Scott's deck. One of the biggest changes was that I changed Meticulous Archive into a Tundra. In the post-sideboard games, Meddling Mage is a thing that is going to matter a lot, and I don't want one of my two white sources to be an ETB tapped thing. And I think I switched around. I think there was one more swamp, one more basic island. I turned those into some more fetch lands to compensate for the fact that I had taken out one surveil land. So we're going to have some weird play patterns today where we do something like wasteland our opponent off of their dual land and then surgically extract said dual land. Notably, the Extirpates can choose non-basic lands, so we can rip those out of our opponent's deck with split second. And again, Surgical Extraction is something other than a basic land. So buckle up, it is going to be a wild ride. I don't know if it is going to be good. I in fact suspect it is not going to be good, but we are going to raise some eyebrows today and incinerate some play points for the purposes of entertainment. This is a great way to spend an evening. I'm excited. And if you need your copies of Telepathy, which, like, in all seriousness, has been played in competitive, like, CEDH, Competitive Commander, please consider getting them from my sponsor, TOAMagic.com. And when you do, use promo code ThrabenU to save a little bit on your order. You're going to get free shipping and great customer service every time. So here we go, folks. Buckle up. Let's battle. Let's get paired against Dredge in game one and make the air horn noises and give them the middle fingers. We've got a Tamiyo. Hand is a keep already on the back of that card. Painter's Servant. Understood. So everything is black now. Opponent has indeed painted it black. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize my opponent, overplay Tamiyo on turn one. I want to see what's going on over there. I'm going to surgically extract the fuck out of the One Ring. Genius. I'm going to go ahead and set a draw step stop, and then surgically extract the One Ring. Get out, get out, get out. I'm probably going to end up back in there. I don't know that I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Let's remove that stop. So my Shoulder's Edict here is only going to answer one of these two things. It's a little unfortunate. I'm going to be slow at getting Tamiyo going, unless I play Tamiyo now, in which case Broadside just throws something at Tamiyo. I don't think I have enough removal to keep up with all the creatures that are coming. I think I'm going to feed Tamiyo and treat Tamiyo as a one-for-one trade with one of my opponent's permanents. And maybe I end up in a position where they like throw a Painter's Servant at Tamiyo and I get to Shoulder's Edict them successfully. There is Disruptor Flute. I'm going to go ahead and Surveil in response. Off my Undercity Sewers Extirpate. I'm going to say no to that. That is not good right now with my opponent having no graveyard, even with Goblin Welder looming here. I don't think I've said this out loud yet. So my opponent decided to put Painter on black immediately, which was an indicator that they weren't necessarily going to be doing the red elemental blast pyroblast stuff that we are used to. And with Hexing Squelcher being in the deck and whatnot, opponent had to find some spots somewhere. I'm desperately trying to figure out what to name versus my shit pile. I think you just name some generic removal spell with Broadside on board and Goblin Welder being able to bring back Painter and move Disruptor Flute around later. It seems like naming some sort of Fatal Push style card is fine. Alright, they have done Force of Will. I don't know that that makes sense there. I would have forced stuff already. Alright. Are you just hucking something at Tamiyo immediately? Yes. Goodbye, Disruptor Flute. Okay, this is exactly what I was hoping for. This is a relatively large source of lifelink. I don't think I'm dead this turn from 9. Opponent doesn't have the mana for something like a Fury. Ooh. That's Chaos Defiler. That's pretty bad. So now I am dead. So my opponent gets to Chaos Defiler, destroy the Goyf, attack for 2, fling for 7. I am exactly dead there. GG. So my graveyard-oriented nonsense will be relevant. I have Hydroblasts, I have Toxic Deluge, I have Null Rod. Don't know that I want this stuff. I think I junk Telepathy. The graveyard hate cards are a little sketch, but not unreasonable. Care about Split Second or being able to pay life. I think being able to pay life. Maybe that's not true with like multiple welders and engineers. Could also play Fairy Macabres as additional graveyard hate. And that's technically castable as a creature, and it's something you can find off of Barrowgoyf. Alright, we're good to go here. Grab an Underground Sea. Send in with the Thoughtseize, with the ability to back it up in a minute. Magus of the Moon. Meekstone. That card is problematic, huh? I don't bounce permanents. Magus is a turn 2 problem as well. Yeah, no Otawara here. I think I need to take Magus so that I don't lose the game to it. I considered getting basic Swamp, but it's so clunky if I end up drawing a... oh yeah, that's fine. I end up drawing a cantrip that I want to try to fetch with. Alright, Wasteland and Meekstone come down. Well, there's a basic. I don't know that I am junking Magus here. I think I'm doing... Fuck. Not doing that. In which case I played the wrong land. Basic Mountain comes down. No immediate play. My Extirpates aren't doing anything here. And I'm not going to use it on Magus of the Moon, which is maybe not a singleton, but like there's probably like 2 copies of it. Going to be a Kozilek's command for X equals 1. Potentially bridging my opponent towards Fury. Opponent says no to their card. Melded Moxite. Opponent discards a card, which turns these on. Although the discarded cards aren't anything special here. I don't think I am taking any immediate game actions. This is rough. Alright, there's a Fable of the Mirror Breaker. The treasures aren't going to work from this, but it's still a value permanent. Oof. That's rough. I mean, this just may be a game where in the top 20 cards of our deck, we do not see a threat or a cantrip. If that happens, so be it. And this is the downside of trying to play cute things like this, but we'll go over that at the end of the league. Alright, I'm going to extirpate the shit out of this card as soon as I get priority. Yep, that's real good. So let's get rid of those rings. See if there's anything else interesting going on. Oh, multiple Furies. Cool. Anything else interesting here? Untimely Malfunction can change targets. Alright, there are 3 copies of Magus of the Moon. Noted. Meekstone's pretty rough for me. More generally, I just don't know that I have enough interaction to keep up with a deck that has this many creatures. We're honestly more hoping to play against combo decks today, I think. Counter something, extract it. Thoughtseize something, extract it. Alright, I get domed. Fury next turn is going to kill me. Alright, this is ideal. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Oh, they're thinking about letting it resolve. Yes. And now I get attacked for 4, then my opponent plays Fury, throws it at my face. There's also a Lightning Bolt. We are dead now. Having things like Extirpate here just meant that I didn't have things that either put something on the board my opponent had to deal with, or would actively deal with my opponent's threats. GG. Today's video is sponsored by Moxfield.com. If you're looking to store your decks online, you're not going to find a better website. It's super organized and easy to use, and I sort everything that I do into a ton of format-specific folders, and you can customize the way that you use Moxfield to your liking. Whether you like text views or visual views of multiple different natures, Moxfield has it all. And it's so easy to use, you might even say that it's a snap. Okay, opening hand here does not cast any spells. Gotta go back. Second hand has Tamiyo backed by a Force of Will. Keeperino. Basic Island, pass turn. Wasteland not currently relevant. I will throw down a Tamiyo. Ooh, great resolves. That's fine. Have a fetch land to clear. Not a strong indication of what exactly my opponent is doing yet, although I'm not sure how much it actually matters. Send in with Tamiyo. We are going to attempt a brainstorm immediately. Ooh, cool. Put back. I want Telepathy to pitch to Force of Will, and then I probably want to play Thoughtseize immediately. I don't think this Wasteland is going to be good. I think I'm going to keep one of these over the next land drop. So go 1, 2, transform Tamiyo, plus Tamiyo. I will go ahead and Thoughtseize now. Then we can work on the next Tamiyo in a second. Called shot. Surgical brainstorm. Called shot. Oh shit, it's Dredge. I just put my shit that Alright. Anything else interesting here? Creeping chills are interesting. Okay. So this is not quite how I thought this turn was going to go down. Thundering Falls. Alright, at the beginning of your end step, if you gain 3 or more life this turn, return it. Okay, got it. My opponent cycles the Street Wraith. So Creeping Chill is a thing, Icarid is a thing. I think I'm going to take one of these. Then I'll pass turn. My Force of Will is not very good. My Tamiyo gets to rebuy Surgical Extraction next turn as long as I don't give them Icarid. Cephalid Coliseum is not on yet. I think I will go Tamiyo minus get back Surgical Extraction. Play Ponder. Bam, bam, bam. No shuffle. Play this. Play out Tamiyo creature. Pass turn, and then I will intend on fetching and surveilling. That's fine. Another Cephalid Coliseum. Yes. Fetch. Undercity Sewers. I mean, yeah. I still think it is very possible for us to lose this game. Let's be clear about this up front, alright? We are doing something janky. Crack a clue. I do not want to draw another card here, because then I would transform a Tamiyo. I don't want to do that right now. Next turn, I'm probably good with that. We can also futz with a number of cards in graveyard for Cephalid Coliseum purposes. Breakthrough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. This will be the 6th card. I think it is okay to just Force of Will that. Pitching the Telepathy. We already know what's going on over there. But I might want to Surgical Extraction these ghouls to just keep the number of cards in graveyard in check. Alright, so ghoul, A here. So goodbye, 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 goodbye. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we attack with Tamiyo, like so. Cast Ponder. I need 2 of these together for them to be good, so I think I'm just going to shuffle. New Tamiyo is fine. Tamiyo minus, return Surgical Extraction to hand, then rack Clue Token, transform Tamiyo, Tamiyo plus, play Tundra, play Tamiyo, pass turn. Tamiyo is a fair and balanced Magic the Gathering card. Opponent to 6 cards in hand. This is a breakthrough though, so this is happening. So now there's a ton of cards in graveyard and a bunch of Cephalid Colosseums. I suspect that I just end up going after the cards that look like this that allow my opponent to start making permanents, and I'm fine. See if I hit a blue card on this draw. Hit a Barrowgoyf. Sick. So send in with Tamiyo. It is possible for me to what? Take 12 from Creeping Chills? Is a very awkward number. I think I'm not paying life for these. I think I'm going to go after Icarid here with this first Surgical Extraction. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then Prized Amalgam and Narcomoeba and Creeping Chills are things to think about from there. I don't know that I want to Surgical anything else immediately. So I will just minus on another Surgical Extraction. And I'll go after Creeping Chills and Narcomoebas and Prized Amalgams and not touch this Cephalid Colosseum type stuff. You may dredge. Alright, so there's Narcomoeba. So let's extract those. Yeah. Opponent could then Cephalid Colosseum in response, I suppose. Which is fine. Ooh, hitting more copies of Narcomoeba. Alright, and there's Creeping Chill. And there's more other Creeping Chill. So the Silver Smote Ghouls are already gone. So this comes at end of turn, right? Yes. I'll go ahead and fetch. Do Underground Sea. Is it Creeping Chill that's the problem here? Not Prized Amalgam. I think my opponent dredging the rest of their deck. And I think I just beat the 3/3s with Barrowgoyf. I think I surgically extract the Creeping Chills. So yeah. So now my opponent can Cephalid one more time. I'll take 6 from Creeping Chills. And then I think Stabilize versus Prized Amalgams. Alright, there we go. So yeah. Yeah. So Creeping Chill. Creeping Chill. The others are on the stack. There's no way for these other cards to be relevant. So then we get 2 Narcomoeba triggers, which are going to trigger Prized Amalgams, and I can go ahead and let the stack just clear here. And then these aren't going to do anything. And then these take out the remaining 2 Narcomoebas that have triggers on the stack. Alright, then my opponent can do a land drop and return Prized Amalgam. There's only 2 of those, despite the fact that there's 4 triggers on the stack, because each Narcomoeba triggered them. So then I go Tamiyo plus, yeah, 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 or Barrowgoyf, hold Tamiyo back. Children's Edict is better than a clue. Now I think I just wait my opponent out. Where is that trigger coming from? I don't know where that trigger came from. There's none of those left. Alright. The prophecy came true. We bullied the dredge deck in game 1, although it was closer than I would have imagined for how many surgical extractions I had. GG. Anyway, if that wasn't enough, we also now have Fairy Macabre. So my edict effects are not exactly crazy here. I am more excited about stopping things from coming into play in the first place. I want to turn some black cards into blue cards. And I'm about to bring in a bunch more black cards. Can I just simply not? I think so. So we just rely on Tamiyo and Barrowgoyf to win. And trim 2 telepathies, I guess? What about telepathy versus meddling mage? I don't know that I need to know what is in my opponent's hand in this matchup. This can attack for 2 sometimes. There's also Toxic Deluge, which is a nice, like, I fucked up button. I think I'm not gonna. Alright, have Graveyard Hate, Counterspell, mana, discard. This is fine. Leyline of the Void. Okay, so this is a weird combination of things. My opponent put me on the play and then put a leyline into play. So now they don't actually just hard discard to hand size here. All right, I will Thoughtseize you. No mana sources here. I will take a Breakthrough. I don't want my opponent to cast that card. Very Macabre is nice insurance here. If I spike a fetch land, I get Meddling Mage. And that can start beating my opponent down while naming Brainstorm. Alright, there's Barrowgoyf. Will be smaller than normal due to Leyline of the Void. I will Ponder. 2/1/1 Barrowgoyfs. I think I'll just fish for other cards. Polluted Delta is fine. That gets me white mana for Meddling Mage next turn. And if I have to Force of Will, I can Surveil instead. Alright, opponent to 7 cards in hand. This is not a problem yet. I guess Leyline of the Void makes a lot of sense for my opponent because Tamiyo rebuying Surgical Extractions and Extirpates repeatedly is kind of horseshit. And this will just be a Tundra for our white mana. Underground Sea is an okay pickup. It's a little awkward playing the Meddling Mage and losing the blue card for Force of Will. Yeah, I think I've changed my mind on what I'm doing with this turn. Alright, so there's now a thingy in the graveyard. So this is the point where I want to Meddling Mage. So, yeah. We're gonna name good old Brainstorm. Send in with ye old Barrowgoyf. Triggers. Pick up a Meddling Mage. Barrowgoyf can still find them. Now I only have 1 white mana, so I can't cast this turn, but this has replaced my blue card for Force of Will. And then I will bam. Ooh, Street Wraith is good. So let's see how this plays out from here. Alright, that's gonna make some friends. Triggering Prized Amalgam. And triggering it again. My opponent is potentially just going to discard again, though. But this happens. So my ability to send in with the Barrowgoyf stops. But this is always bigger than Prized Amalgams. Ghoul to Graveyard. I can hardcast a Force of Will. Trade Meddling Mage for 2 Narcomoebas? I think I'm going to attempt that, because these can attack in the air. Yeah, alright, opponent recognizes that. I think I'm doing this. I have already sent a Breakthrough to Graveyard. It's still a pretty bad card for my opponent to cast. Actually, I might just name Brainstorm again. I know that my opponent has the Brainstorm, and casting it would be pretty detrimental to me. Prized Amalgam keeps triggering. Why is that triggering? I don't know. Barrowgoyf up to a 5, by the way. Finding another one of those is great. So yeah. Sewers. Extirpate. That's neat. Why, I'd probably just take that. Put that on top. Opponent discards a troll. I attack for 5, get attacked for 6 back, gain 5, potentially get another creature. I think I'm in for just sending in with the Goyf. Okay, this is fine. So I will trade these, taking these out, gaining a bunch of life. Now, when something gets bad, I will remove it. I don't know that I need to take out Grave Troll immediately. Like, I think I am taking these out, but I give my opponent a chance to mill over more of them. Yep, I will take some damage. I am going to take these out now, so the dam doesn't break on those. So Amalgam. Oh, does that just send them all with 1 click? Yes, that just sends them all with 1 click. Okay, so it's not like Surgical where you need to click on them individually. All right, so 3, 6, 9, 12, Icarids, and Silver Smoke Ghouls are the things to be thinking about. My opponent has Chain of Vapor as a thing that I should think about, but I have Force of Will. All right, Tamiyo is cool. Icarid in Graveyard now. Send in 4/4. Play Tamiyo. That soaks up some Narcomoeba damage. Icarid less scary if it's not bringing Prized Amalgam with it. Draw step. Alright, there's some Creeping Chill damage. Not impacted by Force of Will. I'm going to end up taking 4 this turn. Yeah. Down to 9. Oh, fuck. The ghouls. They're back. And those can technically be sacrificed to draw a card, but I don't think that's happening. Oh, that is literally the card that I was hoping to draw. Alright. In you go. I don't have a ton of time to do math here, so I'm simply not going to math. It's looking kind of like we might end up in a game 3 situation. Icarid. How many of these are in exile? 2 Creeping Chills in exile. So I'm effectively at 3 life. And it is just a question of when do we get there. Ooh, looks like opponent is not sending. In which case I only take 1. Alright. Very nice. Alright, so Icarid gets sacrificed. Now there's this whole Barrowgoyf situation and these. So I can surgically extract Icarids or Silver Smoke Ghouls. Kind of want another card with Tamiyo. I might just be able to turtle up here. Wait out Creeping Chills. Surgically extract Icarids means that they don't come back. I can also attack, kill one of these, extract them. I think I'm just going to pass here. If I had more time on clock, I could go through all the permutations of the combat math here, and I just simply do not have that time. So Dredge. There's some Narcomoebas. I don't think that's my biggest problem right now, although it is annoying. The Creeping Chills did not happen. Is this time for math is for blockers? This is time for math is for blockers. So, Tamiyo always blocks here. I can take out all of the ghouls and take 6. These come back to Creeping Chill, which I can extract to keep these from coming back. I think this is my plan. Yeah? Alright, I am down to 6. Icarids go away. Cool. I actually might be extracting Icarids and just attacking for 5. Yes. Send in the Barrowgoyf. Alright, Barrowgoyf connects. Say yes. Don't pick up anything. Surgically extract Icarid. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 Creeping Chill remains. Is hard casting Fairy Macabre just better? No, because of Silver Smoke Ghouls. Alright, so there's the Dredge. Did not hit the Creeping Chill. And I think that means that we got it. Alright, it took a lot of clock, but our deck that has 8 pieces of main deck Graveyard Hate did beat Dredge. GG. Alright, opening hand is pretty good. We've got a Tamiyo, and I have 2 Barrowgoyfs, so the fair plan is probably the way this game goes. Taiga, that's not a fair land. Oh, maybe it is a fair land. I have Extirpate if my opponent is doing Life from the Loam stuff. Exploration resolves. Rail? What if you hit something crazy? What if you just hit Life from the Loam right now? No, but opponent did hit a good card. It's another Goyf. Wild. I'm going to investigate. I'm going to do this. This is not a land for Barrowgoyf and clues. I am going to say no to this. I am not going to cast Telepathy. I don't think that card does a lot in this matchup. I know that I just binned a Force of Will. Okay, you may have the Ghost Quarter, and then I will say no to the Life from the Loams for the rest of the game. Alright. That on the stack. Goodbye, Life from the Loams. They are all gone. 1, 2, and 3. Is there anything else particularly interesting here? I guess I should take a screenshot of this. I don't finish games very quickly, so. Sphere resolves, Barrowgoyfs are hard to use. Clue token will hopefully get some work. Wasteland is not terrible. This is all spells, by the way. I will cash this in immediately. It's another one. I will pass. So I can potentially Wasteland stage and then say, you don't get to do this for the rest of the game. There's no basic in play right now for Thespian Stage to copy and fizzle a Wasteland with, which is kind of cool. Send this in. Wire a clue. Now things are a little awkward. I think I'm just passing the turn here. Crop Rotation is a real card. And now I think I will value doing this. I think I will value doing this. Getting more land drops so I can end up with stuff like this is cool. That's Insurance versus Merit Lage as well. Cool, another land drop. Send in. And I think I'll just pass the turn now. The clue tokens just mean that I have stuff to do with my mana. At some point, there's going to be a very weird fight that is probably not fun for me. Fetch. Underground Sea. 1 and 2. Draw a card. That is a Ponder. I don't know that I want to crack the other one now. I might end up just discarding anyway. Yeah. Wire a clue. Yeah, I think I am just discarding. Like, I'm going to discard Telepathy to grow Barrowgoyf and a Ponder to grow Barrowgoyf. This is slightly awkward. Alright, cool. I think with Edict here, I am comfortable doing this as well. Yeah, you can Wasteland my Wasteland. That's fine. You still have the Ghost Quarter to do stuff with. Oh, nice. Combat. Send in. Discard 2 cards. Discard 1 Ponder, discard 1 Goyf. Oh. Yes. 1 and 2. Surgical Extraction. Okay. Slightly more awkward with Sphere here, but not the end of the world. We will continue to durdle with Tamiyo. Is it time? I can hold up an Underground Sea and a Wasteland. It might be time. Oh, it's 4. It's not time. I want to surgically extract an Urza's Saga. Do I need split second? Maybe. Get rid of surgical. There is another Wasteland. I don't super care about those. Yeah. Basic land is fine. Land drop. Munchies. I've made it harder to fight Thespian Stage by playing this land. Should have thought about that for half a second more. The 1, 2, 3, and 4 is fine. Get something in play that actually starts ending the game. Cool. That I am interested in killing. I will do it when I have more mana. I do not hate this. Let's gather some information about what's actually going on over there. Oh, it's nothing. Cool. That's a very different reality from what I was expecting. Okay. In we go. Investigate. Whack opponent for 4. Mill some cards. Don't pick up anything. I'm probably going to act on my opponent's turn. Wasteland Saga. 2 mana Extirpate, leaving me 2 mana to crack a clue or Force of Will, which seems fine. So, Wasteland Saga. The copying happens. Now I will let my opponent draw. Then take out Sagas Forever. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't care about the Mox Diamonds that are here. Okay. This gains its first ability. Not a problem yet. You may Mox Diamond. I'm not countering that. Fetch. Pick up a land. Draw a card. Another Extirpate. Okay, my opponent is just done. Yep. That's reasonable. Very, very strange game of Magic the Gathering. I don't have an answer to that Urza Saga yet. I can, like, ponder and look for it and whatnot, and, like, Sheoldred's Edict, the creature. I wonder if there were lines where my opponent, like, picks a fight over my Wasteland earlier, intending to Ghost Quarter one of my lands when I go to remove this, and then they copy the basic land that I get off of Ghost Quarter. Like, I wonder if there's worlds where they play that differently, and they thread the needle on their abilities a little better. GG's. So I am looking to primarily beat Urza's Saga, and my plan for that is Wasteland 1 and extract it. Like, there's not very many things in my opponent's deck that kill me. It's almost exclusively Urza Saga, with Dark Depths being the other way I can die. Let's assume Fatal Push is not great. Thoughtseize is not incredible either. I don't know that Null Rod is hyper important. It's mostly Mox Diamond and Lava Spur Boots to a much, much lesser extent. I'm in for Force of Negations on Crop rotations and malevolent rumbles and life from the loam. I don't know that I want Toxic Deluge. I really don't want Telepathy. I can guess what is in my opponent's hand most of the time. Although I would not have guessed 3 Mox Diamonds. I thought we were playing a more conservative, like, crop rotation, pick a spot carefully game, and we weren't. If I board up more creatures, Tabernacle gets better against me. That might not even be a card that remains in the deck, though. I think I'm into this. Very, very light on removal for Urza Saga Construct tokens. I'm in for this. It needs some work, but I'm in for this. Opponent has mulliganed to 5 very quickly here, and has kept. I don't think I'm going to mess with that. Urza's Saga. Malevolent Rumble? I think I countered that. Force of Will. Pitch Ponder. We're going to go ahead and go to my turn, where I am going to Wasteland you immediately and surgically extract it. I will do it now so that no weird crop rotation nonsense could happen. Okay, yep, and that is just good enough for the concession. Alright, Telepathy scoreboard, poor. Surgical Extraction scoreboard has won 2 rounds. GG. Thoughtseize, Force of Will, figure it all out later. 2 Wastelands as well. There's a lot going for this hand. We're going to look for a Tamiyo or a Barrowgoyf. Ah, this shit. Yes, I'm going to make you use more spells than that. And no, I'm going to counter that. You're going to Pact a Negation. Oh, you're not going to Pact a Negation. Hell yeah. So now I get to do one of Thoughtseize or Wasteland. I think I go for Wasteland first. Getcha. Try to bottleneck the opponent on mana. Alright, opponent plays another land. Opponent says, curses, you are playing a real deck, and not Sans Blue Jank. First of all, wrong. I am not playing a real deck. It is Blue Jank, though. Then they say I am in Hot Water, lol. You don't even fucking know. You don't even know! Wasteland. Fuck oops. Next land drop? Feel like this is more than the average number of lands my opponent should have. That's nice. Underground Sea. Thoughtseize target you. So there's a Spy. My opponent is up to 3 mana. I can take a Spy or Undercity Informer at will with Surgical Extraction. Kind of a weird spot to be in. Opponent has 3 of 4 mana. Let's take the payoff cards. So I would like to surgically extract both of them, if at all possible. Alright, opponent passes the turn. Alright, Force of Will is cool. So yeah, I'll say no to the land. I don't cast Ponder, I hold that for Force of Will. Alright, no immediate movement here. Thoughtseize, cool. Thoughtseize target you. There is now an Unmask over there. I'm not really interested in you having Unmask, though. Get out. Land drop, pass turn. Let's cross that off. I've used my Surveil land, so we'll chill here. This is where not having very many threats in my deck is a little rough. Alright, opponent passes back again. Okay. So now I can take Undercity Informer and Spy, and that should do it. Surgical Extraction on Undercity Informer in game 1. I guess I could have done this in draw step. So, bam, 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 bam. The opponent's build has Pact of Negation as well. Okay, I guess that's a reason not to do it in draw step. And on Spy. Alright. We now no longer have to worry about the combo. And I can probably stop holding up Force of Will. Yeah, sure. And transition into just trying to dig for something that kills my opponent when I find cantrips. Alright, there's a Force of Will. When my opponent inevitably draws something like a Poxwalker, I can Force of Will that. Dark Ritual. Boggart Trawler. Nope. I will simply say no. Alright, where's my Tamiyo? Soldier's Edict is not what I'm looking for. I want Tamiyo or Barrowgoyf, and they will end the game quickly. No plays from our opponent. Thoughtseize is not all that interesting here. I don't even think I'm going to cast that. I think that's just brainstorm food. Sure. A 1/2 Narcomoeba. Resolves. I will kill it. Please sacrifice a non-token creature. Oop. Alright. There's the brainstorm food I was talking about a minute ago. Here's the good cards that I want. Put back 1 and 2. Fetch. Let's confuse them by getting Tundra. Barrowgoyf. No play from my opponent. Send in. Opponent to 12. Mill some cards. Don't find anything. There's a Tamiyo. Brainstorm. Yeah. Alright. Decisive, overwhelming victory. GG. So, opponent's deck has packs, which often means that Goblin Charbelcher is going to be the juke. So, I guess that means, what? Meddling Mage, Null Rod, Force of Negation? I think we're just not messing around with the removal. I think we're not messing around with Telepathy. I just have too many cards to board in, and this is even before I start thinking about Fairy Macabre. I think to keep my blue count reasonable, I don't bring in Fairy Macabre. I think it's a question of, do I want 4 Surgicals, 4 Extirpates, or some mix of fairies as well. Fairies are creatures that can be found off of Barrowgoyf. Fairies don't eat it to Pact of Negation. Extirpates are good versus Memory's Journey. Let's just do this much. Having 8 Graveyard Hate cards is probably sufficient, on top of Force of Will, Force of Negation. Meddling Mage, for that matter. Alright. I'm in. Petal. Dark Ritual. 4 mana. It's initiative creatures instead. I will Force of Will. Pitching a Ponder. Brainstorms a card. I think I'm going to go ahead and let my opponent go to their draw step. And then take out one of these. And not let that be a thing for the rest of the game. Ah, I got one from hand. Nice. Alright, so opponent is fully off the graveyard combo and is on creature beatdown. Okay, got it. Still have a draw step stop set. So, in draw step, since I know that my opponent has Dark Ritual, let's surgically extract that. Paying 2 life. Get rid of the Dark Rituals. Make it very hard for my opponent to cast that Sheoldred. Fantastic. Make it even harder to cast the Sheoldred. Fetch. Blue and 1 for Meddling Mage. Name Sheoldred. Yeah, get the fuck out of here with your oops all spells and your jukes for the expected juke. Watsy won't ban you, I will. GG's. Alright. Oh my god, it's round 5 already. Keeperino. I would like not to Force of Will because I really want this Tamiyo to do Tamiyo crimes. Underground Sea Gamer. Moon Shadow. That art's kind of wild, by the way. How many dollars is this in real life? Probably too many dollars. I think I'm going to let that resolve. And try to set up to edict it away. So, land drop. Let's see what I have to fight through. Daze says no. Okay. I will edict it, hopefully with a different card backing, being able to be pitched to Force of Will next turn. Let's get rid of this. Stop. We don't need this right now. Oh, hot damn it. Am I only taking 1 from Moonshadow? That's so lucky. That is not the norm with that card. I expected to take a Lightning Bolt worth of damage this turn. Nah. I want to. I have so many lands. Alright. I think there's also timelines where I wasteland them first main, play Tamiyo second main. Let's do this. I will let you brainstorm. Cool, cool, cool. Moonshadow will grow by 1. Oh! That was not on my list of things to be thinking about. Okay, that's fine. Are we Phyrexian dreadnoughting over there? That would not surprise me, given what I have seen thus far. I'm not dazable on my Sheoldred's Edict next turn, which is cool. Oh, shit. Yes. Okay, not dazable. I'm gonna go for Fatal Push here. Nice. And I think play the Tamiyo out. And then if my opponent resolves something that allows a Dreadnought to sneak into play, I just Edict it, hopefully with Force of Will backup. Okay, more Saga. But not the mana to activate. Okay, yeah, there's Force of Will backup. In with Tamiyo. Make my clue. Surveil. I don't know that I need that land. Now, I don't really know what's going to happen from here. There's a floated mana off the one at 3. Are we spellbombing and bobbling? Are there Shadow Spears and Lava Spur Boots? Mox Diamonds? Lotus Petal? That could make a creature. I am very tempted to just Force of Will this Ponder and try to make it so that this Urza Saga dies too, without my opponent hitting a land drop. Yeah. It is another Urza's Saga, which is honestly all kind of funny. Yes. I think I'll just crack a clue token here. Yeah. Alright. Ooh, these are not great. Send on in. Do this now. Cool. In which case, probably do this now. Please sacrifice a creature token. Yeah, this is just not dazable. Great. My opponent's 3 disappearing Urza Sagas, probably leaving them in a rough spot. I would feel bad, but I'm playing 4 copies of Telepathy and Extirpate and Surgical Extraction in my main deck. I'll take whatever I get. Oh, Hex Parasite. That's cute. So you use that as a way to, like, futz with the number of counters on Urza's Saga. Alright, so they're going to remove the counters from it. Alright, that will allow them to keep it around for a little longer. I'll kill Hex Parasite so that doesn't happen again. And this is 5 mana. LOL. Alright. Grab a new Underground Sea. Sheoldred's Edict. Please sacrifice a non-token creature this time. Yeah and yeah. Slam a Barrowgoyf in for Tamiyo with the clue. I have a 6/7-ish creature. My opponent has land, instant, creature, enchantment, artifact. This other Urza Saga is going to go away as well. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah. Tamiyo clue. 6/7 hit. Spell bomb. My 6/7 becomes... Oh, they are doing it to themselves. My 6/7 becomes a 3/4. Oh, that's fine. So trigger. Say yes. Get another Barrowgoyf. Totally fine by me. Rack a clue. See what happens. A wasteland. Play wasteland. Wasteland. Target your Urza Saga. Growing this to a 4/5. 1, 2, 3. Playing this. Making it a 4/5. This is illegal. You don't even have to put good cards into your deck if you put Tamiyo and Barrowgoyf in there. Show me what you're working with. I want to see them all. Concede to Telepathy. Oh, oh alright. GG. Opponent is playing Dimir Bizarro Tempo. With this many enchantments and artifacts, there's almost certainly like Moonshadow, Nethergoyf, Barrowgoyf sorts of things going on over there. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of extra removal. So, like, even if I suss out what's going on, I might not be able to do much. I have 2 Sheoldred's Edicts and 2 Fatal Pushes. Alright, it's fine. Have faith in Tamiyo and Barrowgoyf. I'll play Toxic Deluge to clear constructs. I don't know that I am excited about Meddling Mage. I don't know that I have seen enough of my opponent's deck to have an accurate idea of what to name all of the time. I might just do like this. Do I want to Force of Negation? I don't know that I want to Force of Negation. What about Null Rod? Telepathy's blue for Force of Will. Null Rod isn't. Let's do this. These can at least block and buy time versus a construct if I get into a weird spot. I don't know if Null Rod is good enough. Opponent's deck is sweet, though. My hand does not do anything. Easy mulligan. Yep. Keep. Pitch the cute card. Tamiyo back by Force of Will and Fatal Push. I have basic lands as well. Lotus Petal, go fast. I don't... Alright. Phenomena Recorder. 3 film counters, remove a film counter from it, copy target activated or triggered ability you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. This appears clunky and slow to me, and is just something that is in the deck to tutor off of Urza Saga. I often say if you don't understand why something is in your opponent's deck, you counter it. I think I understand why this is there, and I still think it's bad. So you get that. So yeah. Basic land. Opponent can't double up on that. Pass turn. Underground Sea. Overlord is probably enough value that I just say no to that. Force of Will. Pitching. Ponder. Daze is very good. Alright. Rust down. Tamiyo. Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Fatal Push real bad for me. I kind of have nothing going on now. It doesn't look like that is going to change anytime soon. And this is where having a bunch of, like, surgicals and extirpates in my deck is going to be a detriment. A bunch of the things that I top deck are not going to be bangers. Cameo's fine. I have Fatal Push for that. Yeah. No, excuse me. Do the basics. Try to ignore Wasteland for as long as possible. Although I might be Surveil landing in the next turn cycle. If I can't put... Surveil land right now, in fact. If I can't put pressure on this, this will just turn into a creature. And I have 4 Tamiyos and 4 Barrowgoyfs as threats. Meddling Mage not so much qualifying as a threat in the current situation. Moonshadow resolves. That's a different art than the Moonshadow from a minute ago. Overlord ticks down. Well, shit. How do I answer that Overlord? This? Use 1 Fatal Push and 1 Sheoldred's Edict on each of the 2 creatures that my opponent has in play. Okay. I'm going to take this out so that my opponent can't start copying triggers with this. Moonshadow grows. I will probably get Wastelanded off of my Undercity Sewers. And the Moonshadow might just solo me, like totally ignoring this. No Wasteland? No Wasteland. Overlord close to being a creature. Rainstorm. Okay, if you were going to do that, you get 1 more damage if you do it on your turn. I mean, okay. That was awfully kind of you, deck, if I'm being honest. So, land drop. Fetch. This is a 4/4 with Menace currently. We want no Fatal Push. This creature living would be huge. Deskbot, I was working on a narrative here, bud, and you just crushed it. So I eat 4 to this, and then Overlord is a creature, at which point I get hit for 9, and my opponent probably does more than that. I'm going to let this attack happen just so I can see a couple more cards from their deck when this triggers. And I believe that I successfully identified that this card was not going to do anything this game. There's a Phyrexian Dreadnought. My opponent is playing just for the Moonshadow trigger. So, Overlord attacks. Moonshadow triggers. We did not see anything new here. This means that this is going to go up to a 6, and that is the full 11 to kill me. GG. Yeah, I just don't have more removal to bring in. I mean, I know that I can Meddling Mage Overlord of the Baelmerk now. That's something. Okay, opening hand is fine. I need more mana. I have a Brainstorm to find that mana. I'm gonna say that this is good enough. I get Wastelanded off of this initial Underground Sea. Life gets a little awkward. Okay, that's a lot of creatures. No duplicates here for the purposes of surgical extraction. Since I have so few removal spells, I kind of like the idea of taking a creature here and extracting it immediately. I think I'm going Bowmasters. Let's now set a draw step stop. I'm willing to let you draw another random blue card to pitch to Force of Will in exchange for giving you a chance to draw another Bowmaster. Alright. Bowmaster, Bowmaster, Bowmaster. Alright, so given the stuff that we see here, it now looks like I have seen most of the deck. It's largely expected Dimir bullshit. Got it. I know that my opponent has 2 lands. So there's 1. Opponent is not just throwing Hex Parasite or Ponder out there. I will Brainstorm. Ooh, Tamiyo. This is hard to cast right now, but I know my opponent's hand. Probably Bury Surgical and then just redraw some other card here, like Wasteland. I'm going to make a land drop and pass and intend on playing Tamiyo next turn and then being able to Brainstorm in response to a Fatal Push. And I decide whether or not I draw Wasteland based on what happens in the next turn cycle or so. Keeping my opponent off of this is kind of cool. Alright, opponent said no to a Fatal Push, which opens up my Surgicals, which unfortunately are 2 cards down. Ponder it is. So I could, on my turn, Brainstorm into Surgical Fatal Push, and then try to stick Tamiyo. I'm going to redraw the Wasteland. Alright, here we go. Brainstorm. Cool. This might be going now. I want a bunch of these cards. Go Undercity Sewers on top. Surgically Extract. Fatal Push. Potentially getting Murktide Regent and Force of Will here. Yes. So Surgical Extraction takes 2 cards. My opponent keeps a Fatal Push. I will now play Wasteland. Wasteland your Undercity Sewers. Fetch. Get Underground Sea. Offer up Tamiyo to Fatal Push with the intention of running away with the game via a Barrowgoyf in the next couple of turns. This is some weird magic. I wonder if opponent now thinks that I have days because I have just like very clearly played Tamiyo into Fatal Push after trying to take Fatal Push out of hand. We'll see how they read this situation. They might just Surveil here if they have another Surveil land. Yeah, not willing to go for the removal spell immediately. There's the land drop to Fatal Push around days. Off basics too. Alright, you got it. Get out of there. I have Sheoldred's Edict for that. Meddling Mage not castable currently. Please sacrifice a non-token creature of your choice. Alright, good. No days. Ooh, another Tamiyo though. Hate that. I don't care about Hex Parasite so much, but it is Sheoldred's Edict fodder. Nice. Fetch. Got Tundra. I think shove the one that scales by itself here. The one that is less mana efficient. So we want to dodge Fatal Push, and I probably need to dodge it for 2 turns. We each have a scaling bullshit card, but my opponent's gets to attack first. And mine is not going to be able to draw, something like Bowmasters easily that just helps check the Tamiyo. If I just had my own Tamiyo, though. Oh, I fucked up. I was supposed to play Meddling Mage pre-combat. It's already happened. It's unfortunate, but it's already happened. Alright. So, yeah. Fatal Push on Barrowgoyf is live. God damn it, yeah. I think I name like a Murktide Regent or something like that. I just clicked too quickly through my turn and could have played around that. My opponent has some Tamiyo clues. I currently have more mana than my opponent. I currently have more damage on board than my opponent. I've shut off one of their threats. I think my opponent is currently favored, though, because of that exact card. Punchies. Send in. Tamiyo trigger. In for 2 damage. 14. Draw 1 and 2. Island is not what I'm looking for. I'll make a land drop and pass. Man, this is so much better if I still have the Barrowgoyf in play. I might lose this match because of that. Ooh, we get to shock our opponent for free. Means they are not doing a construct token thing there. I'll happily take that, because their construct token can get very, very big with blue tokens fueling it via Tamiyo. I don't know if I would have cast... Oh, okay. That makes sense. Oh, that's awful. What am I fatal pushing? Probably has to be the Goyf. I have 0 cards in hand, so this is going to work. So Tamiyo trigger, investigate. Yeah. Fatal push Goyf. The Thoughtseize is a terrible draw here. Opponent takes 2. Opponent can have Planeswalker Tamiyo. Opponent can pick up a Spell Bomb. They've got some options here. I do straight up think I lose this one for not playing Meddling Mage pre-combat on Fatal Push. Alright, there's the Phenomena Recorder again. This is now scaling not only the card draw here, but also the power and toughness of this creature. I guess more Barrowgoyf, please. Moonshadow. Is this permanent cards? This is permanent cards. This Thoughtseize is not great. Let's try to find something cool with Tamiyo here. Draw immediately. Wasteland is late. I believe at this point my opponents just got this one. I'm not going to wasteland them because of Moonshadow. Another Underground Sea hits play. Alright, opponent playing around something like an Orcish Bowmaster's there. I'm just going to take the hit. Does not feel good. Racking a Clue. Does not grow Moonshadow. This is permanent cards. This transforms Tamiyo. The construct token has shrunk a little bit, but I haven't solved problems. Alright, I'm going to play a land drop. And I suspect concede after cracking this Clue. If it doesn't get me anywhere meaningful, does not. So Tamiyo goes to 3. Tamiyo can now minus and pick up these things again. And the fact that this is not on Fatal Push becomes even worse because now my opponent rebuys them. I'm going to go ahead and concede there. I think my opponent's got it from here despite the fact that I have an active Tamiyo. Their board is just much stronger. And I think that single mistake keeps me from getting a 4-1 with the card Telepathy in my deck. GG. Alrighty, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Overall thoughts on the deck list. You know, I expected this to be an 0-5 or a 1-4, and we 3-2'd that could have been a 4-1. Admittedly, the pairings were favorable for us in that we played against a decent number of decks, including actual factual dredge, where the extirpates and the surgical extractions were reasonable, maybe not good, but reasonable Magic the Gathering cards in Game 1 situations. Like against dredge, obviously they're great, but against something like lands, a surgical is kind of mid, but it worked out. We did snipe Light from the Loam. You should not be able to have a positive record doing what I just did. But Legacy has some really busted cards that if you build around them, it doesn't matter too much what you do with the rest of the deck. Telepathy pitched a Force of Will, and technically, an opponent conceded with a Telepathy on the stack. Like, that was the thing that killed them. But Telepathy is a card that does not remove something that is on the board. It does not stop a combo attempt. It is kind of cool what you can do with Surgical Extraction and Extirpate and Telepathy, but Telepathy, for the most part, would just be better off as 4 more discard spells that also let you see the hand, but do something that impacts the board. Like, Telepathy pitches to Force of Will in a way that something like Inquisition of Kozilek's or Duresses wouldn't. But overall, this was not too bad, for what it is. I don't recommend playing this deck, but scoreboard says 60% win rate, could have been 80% win rate. And with that, I've recorded 2 videos today, so I'm going to go ahead and call it a day. What a wild ride. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya.